Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
And now, of course, we have our LEA Hope Becker, our star book of the month, who wrote The Husband Who Kept His Wife Fat. What a title with this. The illustration of this devil feeding his wife. I love your husband's the illustrator, and that really nailed it. That was the best thing I can't even get over. So welcome to our show again.
Thank you.
I mean, you are really terrific. It's I hope that this book is being enjoyed by as many people as I think it should, because I told Leah I think it's her probably, I don't want to say her best book, because the last book really affected me a lot. I thought it was a wonderful book. My Name's Not Robbie Anymore. It was so well done. But this is a book that affects all of us. Anybody who's ever on a diet. In fact, it's funny. Haven't said this, but my son, who is now, he's a lawyer, but he's overweight. He has the 11-year-old triplet children, and they're always eating all this garbage, and so it's around the house. But he just said, Mom, I finally decided I'm not going to be thin like I used to be. And he has some very expensive suits. He said, I've boxed them all up, and I've given them to Faith Farm because I don't think I'll ever be able to fit into them anymore. And so we as women, right?
Yes.
I have my closet with some things that I really want to get on, but I still can't get down to that size 10.
I have comments about that. I told you that when I wrote this book, The Husband Who Kept His Wife Fat, it was not only a book that I was writing, but it was a process for me. And it is about a yo-yo dieting woman in her later years of life. And by yo-yo dieting, go on diets, do well for a while, then things happen, and you get off the bandwagon, and before you know it, you've gained back at least what you lost plus some. And it's a very common
dilemma
situation. And it has happened to me in my more years of my life than I am. So I wanted it to be a process. The deal I made with my husband was he would draw the cover if I would lose 25 pounds. Now, he doesn't understand the yo-yo dieting problem.
I know, I saw him. He's thin.
Yeah, he's never had it, and he can't understand why anybody can't just get on the scale every day and alter your habit if you gain a pound. Because that's what he does. And if he does it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, my husband's the same way.
Okay. So I made the deal with him. After I had lost, and I did, and I went on the diet that I was inspired by, the low-carb, low-sugar diet, inspired by the book by Gary Taubes, Taubes. He wrote 3 books, and I read them in backwards order. And I'm now still getting my way through the first book he wrote, which is very, very technical. But I went on that, and I lost about 16, 17 pounds. And my husband did not believe that anybody could lose weight with what I was eating, because I would have a huge steak in front of me. And,
like the Atkins diet, in a way.
Well, it's similar to Atkins, which had some merit, but very few people could stay on Atkins. It was modified, blah, blah, blah. But so I modified it according to what I thought I could live with, and I did. And that, by the way, began last May. So it's a year.
And you kept it off?
Yeah, I got to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So I was down about 17 pounds, and he realized that I was losing weight. So he felt sorry for me. He said, I'm going to alter the contract. Instead of having to lose the whole 25 pounds, I'm going to draw your cover.
Oh.
So that was so sweet. And he did. And I didn't tell him what to draw. And he did this cover, which is a picture of a man with a wide grin with a sort of a tail, wearing a devil's costume. In his right hand, he's holding a 3-tiered layer cake with a bite out of it. And he's holding one of those trident.
A pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Yeah, the devil. And he's got his wife tied up in a chair with rope, and he is inserting something into her mouth. And the only change I made in the cover, I said, what is he putting into her mouth? He says, well, what do you think it is? I said, I can't see the spoon handle. So he looked at me and he, change my art? What does he think he is, Picasso?
Good for you.
So I said, well, I can't recognize it, so make the handle. So he did that. Anyway.
You can imagine an artist telling you, listen, you got to change this, right?
So the book became a reality, and I was able to adapt this diet. And now I got to tell you, the weird thing that happened is I got to a certain level of weight. I wanted to lose another 10. And I realized that I wasn't losing anymore, but I wasn't gaining. And the miracle is, and I really don't want to tell you what the number is. It's just a number.
Okay, yeah,
but
it doesn't matter.
I get on 2 different scales every morning, and they're accurate. And I have not varied by a pound in either direction for about 5 months.
Okay, Leah, that is really, and you're still eating the way you did.
I'm eating that way, and I said to Wayne, my husband, I said, I really wanted to lose another 10 because the scale at Publix still calls me obese, and I don't want to hear that word.
No,
I'm willing to settle for mildly overweight.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're not obese. That's
but
ridiculous.
That's what the scale says.
Right.
Well, because I put in when they ask my height, I'm careful about that, and they ask my age, I'm careful about that.
Right.
All that. So he says, well, you have to change something. I said, I know I have to change something, but I don't want, the thing I like about the way I'm eating now is I'm never hungry, ever.
Really?
And I'm sleeping terrific.
Okay, so now we're waiting, right? So tell me, did you have breakfast?
Yes.
And what did you have for breakfast?
Well, I had a few too many carbs, but I had the quickie breakfast. I had one of those Hot Pockets. And I found out Hot Pockets, they have lean pockets and Hot Pockets. I found out by reading that the ones that are not the lean pockets have a little bit less carbs. And this is not a diet where you count calories. Nobody I talk to can get their head around the fact that you don't have to count calories. Do you know what it's like not to have to go into a restaurant and study the menu with a calculator and a digital readout? Do you know what it's like to just say, what's your best steak? Or fish or chicken? And it's just so...
But are you having desserts? Are those the kinds of things you...
I only have basically 2 kinds of desserts. And I'm wondering when I'm going to get bored of them. But I have the low-calorie Jell-O with the low-fat. I do have the low-fat Cool Whip. And I put in some low-sugar fruit cocktail that comes in a can, and berries. So it could have 4 ingredients, and I vary it. Or I can have a half an apple. Not a whole apple, because I buy a big apple. And I cut it in half, and I'm happy.
Okay, let's move back to your book then.
Yeah, then let's move back.
So, the reason I'm doing that is this really was your Bible. This really helped you, didn't it?
Yes, but in the book, I do not preach about specifically what she ate. I do say as you know by reading the book, that later on she does switch to the low sugar. But my favorite chapter in the whole book is where she goes on the internet. It's near the end of the book.
Yeah.
She goes on the internet to try to find out what the experts are saying, and discovers that they all say something different.
Yep.
And I give a few examples. I don't want to put people to sleep, but really, there are thousands of diet books out there, and no two are alike. And I do that in a way that tickles my fancy. And then she wants to narrow. Then she's looking for a nutritionist, and again she goes on the internet, and it starts out with 8,000 possibility. Then she narrows it to South Florida, and then she decides that she better narrow it even further. So finally, she finishes, and she gets down to 3,000. Then she gets down to a few hundred, and finally she gets down to 30. And she's got to pick out one of the nutritionists, and she goes back to the title of nutritionist with her search, and now there's 33. So that while she was searching, 3 more nutritionists came on. I made this up. So she thought to herself, somebody up there is watching me.
But I have, and the thing is, it's a serious subject, but Leah is a comedian in words. That, here we have a person that does this as a profession, and yet you do this in your writing, and you do it subtly. I mean, some things I laughed out loud when I can't remember that when I was reading it. But, it's so hysterical because, how dare she says the things she says to her husband. And I know you enough with your husband, but it's not you, and yet it's you in a way, right?
It's exaggeration.
But the conversations between you and your husband are hysterical.
Well, you should hear some of the real ones we have. Some of them you wouldn't want to put in print, but that's okay.
But that's a big conversation because he's, he has a lot of nerve. He's picking on you. He keeps picking on you.
Well, a lot of people have said, I hated him.
I did too. I
hated him.
I did.
And I thought there was a rule that if you have 2 principal characters, you got to like them both. No. I think you have to have one character that you like. Otherwise, you want to throw the book away. I try to make her likable.
That's what I said, because I said that I really didn't like him when I was reading this. I was so angry at Humphrey, the rich husband, and annoyed at Lorette, his wife, who allowed her husband to control her. I really got taken with this stuff. I said, shut up, Humphrey. He wasn't very nice to her.
No, he bribed her.
I know that.
He bribed her.
Yeah.
And she went along with it.
Right.
And, if you look back a couple generations, how many women weren't taken in or at the mercy of what their husbands decided to,
I don't want to give away, but she actually was his assistant. He was very, very wealthy.
No, that's okay to say.
He's very, very wealthy. And instead of getting a real assistant, he has his wife doing this. And she has her own struggles, and he just, he wouldn't.
He would plead with her, nobody can cancel appointments
like
as well as you can. and he loved that part of her.
Yeah, it was just
amazing.
And
she was good at it.
Yeah.
And she couldn't not be good at it because it was her job.
Yeah,
this was my job.
He bought a home that was like 30,000 square feet. It was a palace. It was a huge place. And, it was ridiculous. He had 3 floors. It was a huge house. And
she didn't like having a big house. She was brought up in meager circumstances. So at one point, while he was away for a few days, you know how in hospitals they have signs with arrows? So she went in different corridors of the house and would signs this way to this, and then he made her take down the signs. He also had her install a bunch of intercoms so that she was always having to answer an intercom. And she didn't like it when she was, in her bathroom, doing things like she was doing a pedicure and the intercom things. And,
yeah,
like
no,
that.
it's a wonderful thing. So
Yeah.
I want everyone to buy the book. I really do. So I got to give you some information. The way you're going to do this is you're actually going to, how are they going to buy the book?
They can buy it on Amazon or they can order it from any bookstore with a computer.
Okay, and so let's say the name of the book again. It's The Husband, that's all caps. The husband who has kept his wife
No, it doesn't matter as long as you spell the words right.
I'm teasing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what the all caps are, husband and fat.
And I believe by this point, and I haven't had time to check, that it's on multiple booksellers on the internet because the others got on them in mysterious ways.
Yeah, everything did. But
yeah,
this is really the book that I think
it comes in paperback and it comes in what they call the Kindle version.
Oh, the Kindle. Okay, The Husband Who Kept His Wife Fat, and it's Leah Hope Becker. That's who we have here as our guest. And if you would like someone to speak, she is willing to go, and you're willing to go and speak, right? So is there, how would they get in touch with you?
Well,
should they,
this is what I got on my business card. Now, I changed my business card.
What you don't know is Leah really, she has a CPA license. She's really a financial.
No, not a CPA license, a law license.
Law license.
And, I was a CPA, but I don't.
I'm sorry,
I
don't
didn't.
do
That's
that now.
okay. It's all right.
So I mean, this is a funny thing. She's a real professional woman, and she got into writing, and she's having so much fun with it. So she's I love your card. Now that was clever. See, I didn't. Oh, that's a clever thing. Good. Okay, this is the phone number. You can call her 561-784-1434. 561-784-1434. Oh, I love this. It says, the tragedy of our times is that there isn't enough comedy. Hire a speaker who makes folks laugh. See, so here we have a woman. And, also, Pamela has a business, too. She has a lot of businesses.
So they can go out and call Pamela.
No. But I'm saying that's the whole point. I love your card. That was very smart. That was very clever. Thank you.
Hold on.
But so you're happy that you did this, and now you're thinking of another book.
I can't not think.
So the 80-year-old woman that we were talking about.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if it fleshes out.
Do you think that an 80-year-old woman thinks differently than a 60-year-old woman?
I have to pick a character, and I have in mind a character of an 80-year-old widow. I'm not a widow, but I sure know a lot of widows, and there are some widows who are content and are not what we call looking, but there are some who are very much looking. So my character so far is one who is really looking and trying to be creative about it. So she's thinking,
very good.
Yeah,
I can
she's
see
going to
stuff
be
with
creative.
that.
So I have an idea. I don't even know if I want to say it because I may change it
okay.
23
All right.
times.
That's
But
okay.
she's going to go to a place where there are, I will say this much. She's going to go to a place where there are a great deal of young men, too young for her. And the whole concept is it's not that they're a third of your age. It's the grandfathers I want to get to know. And so she figures that that's going to lead to something.
Well,
we'll see.
It's interesting. The young men, though, are prime suspects now for older women. You know that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah, I have friends.
It takes years to break in a new man.
They're hard to train.
Yeah.
But but I have a friend who actually, she was a college friend of mine, and she's married to someone 25 years younger than she is. I think it was 25, or no, maybe it's 17, but they've been married for 25 years.
It happens.
And I heard just recently another thing about this. Oh no, the new Prime Minister of France.
Yes.
That was his teacher, and there's 25 years there.
I know.
I think this is fantastic, isn't it?
I once had a stockbroker who married a woman 50 years younger, and they were my friends.
Well, no, but that's common. I mean, not that it's common. We know about men who marry women much younger.
Yeah.
This
you're
is the
talking
other
about
way.
The reverse.
I'm talking about men who like women who are older.
I've heard about that.
Oh, that's happening. There's a name for it. They're not. Are they coyotes? No, what do they call them? No, there's a word for that. No, the men. Okay, I got to think about that. Come on, somebody knows what do they call the women who are looking for men who are younger. They're women.
They're cougars.
Cougars. It wasn't coyotes. It's cougars. Cougars. There are a lot of cougars out there.
I knew that.
Yeah. So anyway, I think you've got a good topic, but you got to really work that one because it's a very good topic.
But this woman isn't thinking like that. She's thinking she needs connections.
But yeah, I understand what you said. That they're all going to have grandfathers, but she may then get poked and change your mind. That was good, wasn't it? Oh, I am bad.
In a good way.
Yeah, bad in a good way. I think I love the idea that it's an 80-year-old woman who's feeling much younger, and what is going to happen to her, right?
Yeah, she's not through living
Hardly.
all facets of life.
Hardly.
Yeah.
Hardly. Do I look like I'm giving up life?
You?
Yeah. I will be
God,
80.
no,
I will be 80 in December.
I want to know the date.
I will be 80 in
I'm
December.
going to send you a
December.
specially designed card.
Oh, okay, December the 16th.
By the way, my daughter designs custom greeting cards.
Really?
Yeah, and they are really custom. And if you can give
They're
me
custom cards.
Yeah, custom cards.
That she makes a living doing that? Or that's just
It's
a
hard
hobby?
to say it's a living because I know their
it's a hobby.
lifestyle. Well, no, it's a business.
Oh, okay.
But there's a difference between having a business where you eke out a profit and a living.
No, okay, but she is in business doing
I
this.
tell you, they're gorgeous, and
we
they're
have to see
very,
them.
very interesting.
I love gorgeous greeting cards.
because she has attachments to the cards that are very personal to
very
who
nice.
the person is.
Very nice. So she's a real artist.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to be looking forward to something like that. But in the meantime, we want to talk about your book.
Okay.
As Book of the Month, The Husband Who Kept His Wife Fat. So, and you have really profited in a sense of being able to now keep your weight at a place where you're happy.
Let's put it this way. I go into my closet. You talked about a closet.
Yes.
May I speak on closet?
Please speak.
Maybe
that's your next book.
I have not wanted to discard some of my thinner outfits. You brought up that. And I realized that I now am ready to do it. I'm going to go into my closet, maybe even today, and start sorting. Some will go to a good cause because they're
Faith
good.
Farm, please.
It could be Faith Farm, could be the Salvation Army.
Yeah, no, Faith Farm.
Some will remain because they're close, and some will be gone. And I figure I'm going to get rid of 2/3 of everything that's in there, and then I'll be able to see what I have. And the impetus for that is we are going to be traveling to Newfoundland in a week.
Wow.
And I want those 3 beautiful Columbia shirts I bought. And so far, I've only found one of them. And they're 3 different colors. And I want all 3. 2 of them are hiding in that closet. And I can't find them. And I know they're there. Because
Probably something else is on top of it or something, right?
you don't. It's a closet that should have been 5 times the size if you wanted to see everything that you have. I mean, it's not like my husband's closet where all his shirts have to be hung in the same way and they're finger spaced and, everything is perfect, which is his personality and not mine, where, My clothes are entirely too intimate with each other. So I am going.
Are you getting material here?
Yeah, I am
they're
going
too
to
intimate
clean
with
out
each
that
other.
closet and just do it. Thank
Yeah.
you, Nike.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it is interesting how our personalities do come about in a closet. I think the closet is very symbolic of our life.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? I had never thought about it until you just mentioned it. I still haven't gotten rid of any of Bill's things. I wear a lot of his stuff, as a matter of fact. And then mine. And then, as you said, things that I want so much to be able to get into, but I haven't gotten motivated enough. But you say, well, if you throw it out and then you get thin, what happens? Well, you know what he would say? Then you go buy something else. He said that's what his theory always was.
There's nothing wrong with purchasing new clothes.
Right. So
but
this new book. So now you're still marketing, of course, your new book that you just wrote.
Right.
The husband who kept his wife fat.
Right.
But now you're thinking about another book.
Right.
So you will always be writing, won't you? That's what it looks like. That
my brain keeps working in
yeah.
a certain strange manner.
But you got to keep hitting. See, this was a perfect subject. Your other subjects, they were personal. A few of them, they were fun. Yeah. The last one with the Robbie, that was really good because that was important. But this one is really comedic and right on with everyone. So now you're going to think of something, I can feel it, that other people are doing too. But the general public, whether it's a lot of 80-year-old women out there.
Yes, there are.
And I think that the kids will enjoy reading about their mother.
Or their grandmother or their great-grandmother.
That's right. So do you sweat over this? I mean, when you find something now, are you spending a lot? Is it a lot of stress for you?
There's all kinds of stress, and I try to keep it in perspective. If I go to a writer's group, when I first started with this writer's group about 8 years ago, and they didn't like what I had written, I would practically go home, not in tears, but I would be in shreds. Yeah. And then I got used to the fact, and I also read some biographies of comedians. I did. And found out that they would have all kinds of problems, and that made me feel better.
And we have problems because they're shutting us down.
Yeah.
It's over. You're wonderful, Leah. Sorry, we're over. But we'll get you back again. We always do, Thank you, and we'll see what you're doing next time.